Hi everyone, we are back online today on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope and Twitch with another guest from London, near Teddington, Twickenham, Catherine Ellis. Hi Catherine, how are you today?
Hello Fred, I'm very well, thank you.
Yes, and you told me, because actually we attempted a first live stream which was for some reason interrupted. You were telling me that you are just about to start a worldwide tour of your own house.
I'm going to be performing worldwide from the following venues: my living room,
Yeah,
my bedroom,
yeah,
my bathroom,
yeah,
roof terrace,
yeah,
my garden, my bike shed,
yeah.
and I'm considering smaller venues, maybe as a sort of warm up, the bathtub, kitchen
Yeah,
sink.
that would be perfect for the tryout. You'd like to do in your worldwide house tour
Yeah.
the same concept as the one you did when we met each other in Soho
Yes,
last
I
year.
met you. I met you at Jazz After Dark, which
Yeah,
is a tiny little quirky venue in the heart of Soho in Greek Street that only holds 50 people.
yeah,
And the back part where I perform only has seating for 26. And I have put on a show regularly there for over the last 2 years, called A Century of Songs. And that is basically any songs I like from the last 100 years. So it could be Autumn Leaves, Lover Man, so old jazz standards, Walk On By, so soul, funk, Bill Withers, um, disco, my own house stuff. I do David Bowie, Elton John, just whatever I feel like doing. And I tell jokes and I sing over. I sang an award-winning Pizza Hut advert. So
yeah.
I sing
I
over that.
remember that.
And then I talk about having heartburn, and then I sing my Gaviscon advert, which I did
Yeah.
for those of you who had it on in your territory, had the big hose pipes with the firemen putting
Yeah,
out.
with the fireman, I remember that one.
So I say, don't worry, because if you've eaten too much pizza, you can have, some Gaviscon.
Yeah.
A bit of comedy. So I'm going to stream that show from home.
Uh-huh.
I'm hoping to do it once a month. I haven't set a date yet because perhaps like everybody else, we've had a lot to organise. I've got teenage sons. I've got someone else's daughter here and my husband, and there's just been a lot. There's been a lot to get through. Practical things like rewriting our will, to getting equipment that we needed for everyone, and sort of getting everyone on side. And it's for one of my sons has found it much harder than the other one and has needed a lot of support. So I think we're all right now. We're kind of in the groove. We're resigned to it. I think we're all on the same page. So now we've just got to tidy up the house, which is a bomb site. And once and I think we can actually start doing some fun stuff.
And how do you see the situation? Let's say if we were into this for another 2 months.
Well, I personally think we will be. I mean, it's very hard. I mean, I'm just talking about myself, and I do feel incredibly grateful and fortunate because, we're lucky we have a spacious house. Everyone has their own room. There are even spare rooms. There's one I'm going to turn into a library, sort of quiet area, which has got lots of old books in it. So I'm actually going to make it more of a, computer-free, screen-free zone that people can go and relax. We've got a roof terrace, we've got a front garden, we've got a back garden. So we've got lots of space. My 19-year-old son, who's 20 on the 2nd, is a qualified personal trainer, and he was working in a gym. So the night that the gyms closed, we went online and we bought a gym, basically, which has been being delivered in bits. And we had quite a substantial contribution from the family and friends that normally buy him a present towards the gym, because it's been quite expensive. So we've now got, a third quarter of our living area of the communal living space is now a gym.
Yeah.
and my son has been training us. So I've had a training session, and we choose our music. So when I had my first session, I put on James Brown.
Uh-huh.
And my husband's really into his rock, so and they, so he puts on Clutch and whatever. So yeah, so that's really positive. So my son's a bodybuilder; he can squat 140 kilograms. So he's really, really fit, incredibly sort of, body conscious. So yeah, so we've got him sorted. He's training everybody. He's also a great artist, very talented. He draws with fine nibbed pens and paper, very, very intricate work. You can see them on my Day of the Diva. I've got 2 Instagram pages. One's Day of the Diva, which I'm using for more personal things during the Official Catherine Ellis.
Official Catherine Ellis, yeah. That's the one on your website
yes,
that I can see on the website.
That I'm mainly talking about my work and my career. The other one is more personal. So I've got Zebedee's artwork on my personal page if you're interested. And then my younger son is studying music performance at college. So we got him Logic, an 88-key keyboard. We moved computers around, so he's got the family laptop, and we bought him an interface. So he's now set up. He's already all his guitars and everything, so he can now record and make music because that's what they were doing at college. So he can continue to do that. I've been in touch with his college and offered to do an interview. So they've sent me questions, and I've been asking some of my colleagues. So some of my colleagues are jumping on board and producing some content for the students. It's really hard for them. And then his girlfriend is 16, and she's at Erdang Academy, which is one of the top musical theatre colleges in London. So, we've got a big living room with a wooden floor, so she can do her online dance classes in there. She can learn songs with Gulliver and writing songs. And when we did this show the other night, because I've got all the live amps and equipment, so we just got it all out, set it all up, and we were all able to actually put on that gig with which was great. So I feel incredibly lucky, and I furthermore feel lucky because I have been recording my vocals at home for 20 years.
Ah, yeah. So all the most of the vocals that we hear in your discography were recorded at home.
Yes.
Ah, yeah.
Most of them, yeah. Example: Salty by Dylan Rhymes, Insatiable by Mark Knight. The Freemasons actually re-recorded me themselves in Brighton. But Samuel Sartini, the one you said's on your playlist, that was here. Everything I did one in the studio with him. Yeah, so, I've got a really professional setup. I've got a brilliant microphone, and I've got my Pro Tools. So I can continue to make music because essentially I'm a top-line writer, like the lyrics and the melody over dance music. That's what I do. So, obviously, over the last 10, 15 years, the bottom has fallen out as far as income goes in record sales. So my main income's from live. So overnight, I had like 15 gigs, just
cancelled. Yeah.
The other thing I'm doing, last year, I decided to do a DJ course. So I went to the London Sound Academy in Camden, and I did a 4 2-hour tutorial. So I've got my decks here. I'm going to use the time to get better at that and learn everything there is about that. So that's really good fun.
I could invite you as a guest DJ on the radio and do it like that. Yeah, that would be cool. We can do that. It's funny. You can connect yourself and get an hour or two and replay it and stuff.
Great. So that would be fun. I need to get started. I've only actually done it in front of people once, just before we all got locked down. I went to a friend's party and I DJ'd. But that's the first time I've ever done.
You DJ on what? On CD players? On vinyl? On
USB.
USB, yeah.
DJs. I just got starter decks. They're DJ 400.
Yeah, I see what it is, yeah.
But it's like entry level.
Yeah.
I thought, I don't want to spend loads of money until I know whether I can actually do it. But I realised I had to have some sort of setup to practice on, to find out whether I could do it and whether I liked it. But I absolutely love it, I have to say. And then the other thing I've been wanting to do and just haven't had time, I've got a pretty clear idea for a musical.
Nice.
I've got a lot of the songs. I've got the story. I know, I've just got to flesh it out. So I'll actually have time to do that. as well. So, but I guess I'm fortunate. I mean, we're not rich, but we're not in debt. And, we've got lot of credit open to us, and we've also got very generous couple of family members and a friend who've said, we will help you. So I'm extremely grateful that I personally, for now, don't have to worry about money.
Yeah, it's true that there are many people who don't know how they can make it for the next few weeks.
Really, really hard. But I do have any other income streams, so I can earn money doing sessions here. I'm a writer, so I've got songwriting royalties, PL, PRS, all the rest of it. So, yeah. But as I said, the main bulk of it was
live performance. Yeah.
My husband is an illustrator and photographer, and over the year, we're both freelance. So over the years of late, his main income has been photographing bodybuilders and fitness people. Of course, that suddenly gone. So he's developing a new illustration style. We're just adapting. We're artists, I mean, as long as I can sing and as long as I can be creative, I kind of almost don't really mind what it is. And the fact that I can perform at home to an audience, I might not be able to see them, but an appreciative audience who enjoy it, that's going to keep me going, because I think out of everything I do, what I enjoy the most is actually performing.
And I would say that besides the danger of the illness itself, this virus, for creative people, it's in a way an opportunity to think about what you can come up with, new ideas, new ways to express yourself.
You know what? I think it's a real gift. In this show that I did the other night, at the end of the show, I gave a shout out to the essential workers, and what I said was, shout out to all the people, the essential workers who are keeping us alive, keeping us fed, keeping us safe, looking after us while we have fun.
Yeah.
And then I said, we're having fun in our house. I hope you're having fun in your house. And I'm not naive enough to think that everyone is having an easy time. And I'm also not saying that we're having an easy time. We have had major challenges in our household. I've got a 19-year-old son who now can't see any of his friends.
Yeah. And you told me also one with his girlfriend that he can't be confined with the girlfriend, so they have to chat, I guess, over the internet and stuff like that.
With the younger one, his girlfriend, they've been together for 2 years. And I wrote to his mother 2 weeks before the lockdown, and I said, because they stay at each other's houses all the time, and I said to her, we'll have Erin here. It just so happens we've got more space, and we're all creative and she's creative, whereas her parents, I'm not saying they're not creative, but their jobs are corporate and they're working from home on computers, office day. Mother's quite a quiet boy, and obviously as a mother she felt she couldn't part with her, but as it went on and she saw that Erin was just cooped up like a bird, like a caged bird, going mad with no one to talk to, nothing to do. I think we all, she realised that it would heartbreakingly be better for her
to stay with you.
She brought her over on Mother's Day, and my son went towards the car to hug her, and I said, no, Gulliver, you can't go nearer than 6 feet. So Jeanette wound up the car window, and she put her hand on the glass. Gulliver put his hand on the other side, and we were all crying, But then her mum went home and turned her bedroom into her office. She was like, this is great. I've got my own office. I can lie back and I've got a bed to chill out. So, and we've seen her since. I mean, we're being very strict in our house, but, she needed to bring some things over for Erin. So we made sure we maintained that 2 meters. She came into our home, into the front garden, sat 2 meters apart, and they had a chat. So that was really nice.
And no one in your home has been ill so far?
No, well, I wouldn't say we haven't been ill, but I've been quite ill, actually. But whether I've had it or not, I don't know, because obviously they say 80% of us will get it. Some of us have no symptoms, some will have mild symptoms. So I had a cough weeks, like really, and there were about 5 days when I was so out of breath that even walking upstairs, I would have to lie down.
Mm-hmm. So
I was
yes,
exhausted
so it
by
was
it.
one of the main symptoms. Yes. Mm.
Whether that means I've had it,
Yeah.
I don't
I
know. So I
mean,
haven't
if you had
tests.
it, it's good because you made it
Exactly.
true.
I haven't had a temperature.
Yeah.
I had a bit of a headache one night, but yeah, so I have had unusual symptoms, and they have been extreme fatigue, extreme breathlessness, and this very nasty dry cough. Whereas normally if I get a cough, it goes to my chest and then I cough stuff up, but this has been dry, and I'm still coughing a bit in the mornings. So yeah, I wouldn't say I'm 100% well, but a lot of my friends have been though, and have actually been diagnosed and have had it and have been very, very ill. So
Yeah, I
you
know.
know,
I know someone musical singer who left me a message, but I think he recovered now. But he had a very, very bad cough, really, really dry. So I mean, yes, even if we are younger than, I would say, the worst target group of the population, we have to be careful also.
Everyone's got to be careful. You know, you might have an underlying health condition you don't know about. It's random. I mean, that's what they're saying, isn't it? They're saying mainly the elderly, mainly those with underlying, but not only. So don't think you're immune and just go about your life. I mean, I'm 54, my husband's 57. We're not exactly, if you look at the scale of who's most at risk, we're getting up there.
Yeah. You're not 80 plus, but...
No. So we're doing, we're just doing our best. We're not going mad. A friend of mine said today, "Oh, are you washing all your vegetables and fruit and hosing everything down?" I said, "No, we're not." Because honestly, it's been such a struggle to get my family to this point. Kicking and screaming in the beginning. My son was going to the gym every day, and I was saying, before the lockdown, when the gyms closed, I was like, hallelujah, because I could not stop him. I can't stop a 6'1" bodybuilder. How, it's impossible. He's bigger than my husband. He's absolutely massive.
Yeah, so it was more like life-threatening.
He's not violent, and I'm not afraid of him. But I can't
physically.
I can't stop him.
Yeah, prevent him from going where he wants to go.
What am I supposed to do? Have him arrested? So when the gyms were closed, then that was good, really good for us. Not good for him, but
yeah. And as you told us, you've just you've also repurposed part of your living room as a gym. So.
Yes, yeah, we have. Yeah, so we've got a gym downstairs. The squat rack.
Yeah, so there will be one of the backgrounds of the house tour, which will look like a gym, like.
Well, apparently, because we've got double doors onto the garden, and this squat rack, if you know what that is.
Yeah.
An arch in front of the doors, so they're saying that is my stage.
Nice.
So when I do my performances, I'm going to be rigging up lights, and I've actually got a bit of beautiful fabric my sister bought me in India, which is like a sari, and it's pink and green, so I thought I might hang that over it. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm at home, aren't I?
Yeah.
I haven't got a theatre. I've got a living room, so it's just going to be what it is.
Natural.
But,
natural.
What's important is that the people that live in this house are able to continue with the things they enjoy, so that we don't all go completely mad.
That's true. Speaking about places and gigantic venues, you sang, I think it was, I mean, if the video was uploaded when you did it in 2016 in Vienna, for the world premiere of Gravity in concert, I think.
That's right.
Yeah. So I just show a few images of that with you singing. You can't see yourself, but you're singing on the picture. You can see your full performance there. Tell us a bit more about this experience of singing for Gravity.
Okay, so the composer, Stephen Price, approached my agent at the time, Christine Poundford at Hobson's, and it was after a certain, like a type of voice. So she put me and a couple of other people forward. He listened to our show reels and chose me. So I then went to a studio in Chiswick. This was a year before the movie came out. And it was just Stephen and his engineer. And I didn't know anything about him. I hadn't bothered looking him up or anything. I didn't know anything really about the job. But they'd sent me a rough demo, and Christine had said, he wants to know if you can hit this note at the end. And I said, I actually don't know. And it's not the sort of thing I can really practice. I'm just going to have to see what happens when I go there. So when I got there, I said, you know, I don't know if I can hit that note. And he said, oh, I don't know if anyone can. He said, I've had 3 people in here and they can't hit it, and they're not they're too kind of classically trained. I want something rawer and more kind of earthy and real. Mm-hmm. So I basically did the session. It took 90 minutes. There's 90 seconds of vocal. It took 90 minutes, and we literally started at the beginning. If you listen to the track, the melody ascends. Mm-hmm. So it's the first bit is easier, if you like, because it's in a lower, less powerful register, and it builds up to this incredible peak. Mm-hmm. Last note is not something I would ever have written for myself, mm-hmm. Because it's ridiculous. But anyway, I knew how I wanted it to sound, and by the time we got to that last note, my voice was warm because I'd been singing for an hour and a half, and I nailed it on the 3rd take. Mm-hmm. And him and his, they were literally jumping up and down, literally like clapping and cheering and jumping up and down in the control room. I, on the other hand, was shaking and practically in tears and gasping for breath.
It's not something you could have done last week in the...
It's like a primal scream.
Yeah. That's
what it is. It's a primal scream. And they showed me a clip of the movie, and they said, it's about a woman who gets lost in space. So I thought to myself, you know, how terrifying must that be? And I connected with times in my life where I have feared for my life. Mm-hmm. So when I've actually, you know, been close to death or, you know, bad times.
Danger. Mm.
That's what I, you know, had in my mind when I did it. So so then some years later, I can't quite remember what year everything happened, I was approached by Hollywood in Vienna, which is a show that's on every year in Vienna. And every year they honour a composer for half the show, mm-hmm. and the half of the show has a theme. So the year I did it, it was space.
Oh, yes.
So they had, like, you know, Interstellar, Star Wars, Star E.T.
Mm-hmm. So the series is called Hollywood in Vienna. That's the name of the concept. Yeah. Mm.
Yes, and it's been on, I think, for about 11 or 12 years now. So you can see the whole concert online. All their concerts are up online. So if you Google it, it's absolutely incredible music, because they had like the original vocalist from the soundtrack. Yeah. They had another couple of vocalists, but they weren't the vocalists that were on the soundtrack. So that was a big thing for them to get the actual person. Mm-hmm. The soundtrack won an Oscar. You know, the film won 7 Oscars, and 1 was for original score.
Yeah, it was a great movie. I mean, at the time I saw the movie, I didn't know you, so I didn't connect you and the movie. But yeah, I really loved the movie and the sound and the soundtrack that time.
We went to the cinema, watched it in 3D. Really cool. So when they asked me, and Alexandre Desplat was the composer they honoured. So if you look up him, he did Secret Life of Pets, Grant Beach. You know, he's one of the biggest composers, French guy actually in the world. Amazing. So you know, so it was an exceptionally amazing event. And I've never been so terrified. The studio was hard enough. No, if I could do it live. But in my career and in my life, I've always taken risks and kind of said yes and then worked out how to do it.
How to do it. Yeah. Figure out how to do it later on.
Yeah. And so far, I've managed to sort of pull it out the bag. So we went there for 5 days. I took my husband, and my friends Kevin and Rachel flew over from Australia as my guests, and they put us up in the Imperial, I think it's called the Imperial Hotel, incredible hotel. So we had, you know, with piano player, and then with some of the orchestra, then with the whole orchestra, and we had a trip to the American embassy, and we met the American ambassador, and our car was shut in a cage while it was checked for bombs. I mean, paperwork, and we weren't allowed to keep our invitations, and you know, that was all very exciting. Great big portrait of Obama in the house, and the ambassador was a woman, and very, very nice. And they had some of the musicians, world-class violinists in a quartet, so piano, 2 violins, and a double bass or a cello playing. And at the time when they started, I'd been listening to a speech at the other end of the room, and then this music started, and my friend and I were right in front of them, and seeing these 2 world-class violinists under my nose is one of the most incredible experiences of my life. So yeah, it was an extraordinary week. We were lent diamonds. It's like, oh, come to Shop Hard Diamonds, choose what you want to wear. These beautiful Tahitian pearl and diamond earrings that my friend Kevin said he thought were worth about $60,000, and a great big diamond ring. I had a dress made by dressmaker Kevin Freeman, because I don't want to leave it to chance. So I had the dress that I'm wearing, I had made, and it was designed by him with my, you know, input. So, you know, I got everything, I really sort of made sure I got everything ready, and I had to be a bit of a diva when I got there, because they were trying to make me sing that note in the rehearsal, and I refused.
Just to keep it for the performance.
Yeah, and in the dress rehearsal, I wasn't expecting loads of people to be there, so it was all like people's friends and family. It's like, oh my God, you know, really nerve-wracking. You're in this massive theatre, and I sort of sung it, and then I mouthed the last line, and then this disembodied voice read, Catherine, we must hear your last tone.
Yes. Very, very formal like that.
And I said, no, sorry, I'm going to sing it, you know, tonight.
Yeah.
We must insist that we will hear this last tone. I said, listen, I must insist as a professional singer of 35 years that I know my voice, and I know that I need to save it for tonight. And the conductor,
that was it.
The conductor was great. He was sort of like smiling at me,
Supportive.
And I spoke to him afterwards, and I said, thank you so much. He said, look, that's my job. I'm the mediator between the artist and the powers that be. He said, and if you're telling me that that's what you need to do, then that's what you need to do. You're a professional. You know, you wouldn't be here. And of course it was great. And then when I went to do the show, it was we did it twice over 2 nights. They said, oh, you're going to be sharing a dressing room. I said, no, I'm not.
Like the diva.
Yeah, they said, no, we've you know, we haven't got enough space. I said, well, you're going to have to find some, because I'm not sharing a dressing room. It's not happening, because I knew that I was so nervous, and it was such a big deal for me. There was no way I could have shared a dressing room with someone I didn't know. It's just not, you know. And anyway, needless to say, they found me my dressing room. And in that dressing room, I was able to have my throat steamer, drink my tea, do my vocal exercises, cry, you know, read my book, whatever I needed to do to get myself in the zone. But my only regret is that, of course, I didn't see the show.
Yeah.
So I was just backstage and just came out for my bit, and then came out at the end for the bow.
Yeah, you can't disembody and see yourself singing on stage.
I couldn't see anyone else do that thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, the second night I absolutely nailed it 100%, and that's the performance that they
recorded.
And it was one of the most triumphant moments of my entire career and life, because it was just so hard to do, and it took such a lot of preparation, you know, and to actually do it all. It just went exactly how I wanted it to.
Yeah, because on stage you just have one take. It's not like in the studio you can try it twice and fail a bit and then make it happen the third time. There it has to be there because the attention is on you. If
Exactly.
you fail, if you miss it, that's a disaster.
And the first night, it wasn't quite. It was kind of okay, but it wasn't. The end of the note wasn't. But the second night, but I was kind of saving myself because the second night was more important because that was the sort of gala night with all the, the main kind of people and everything. So I was saving a little bit. Yeah, and it was just, and the applause, in the room, it was extraordinary. And they did actually stop and allow, the audience to applaud me for quite some time.
Mm-hmm. And have you been approached after this movie and the performance you gave to do it again, to do something comparable?
Not in the way that you might imagine, but I have had positive repercussions from it. It's not like suddenly people were queuing up to get me to sing on their films. It's been more things like I've been asked to give talks at universities, and it's almost like people take me more seriously now. It's like a really big deal. It's like, people say, you've won an Oscar. Of course, I haven't won an Oscar, but I sang the title track
of the Oscar-winning movie.
To an Oscar-winning movie, which won all the awards that year. I think it won 7 Oscars and 6 BAFTAs and, just loads. It was just did so well. And the fact that I did some singing that was impressive on it, because I could have just been, I've sung on other film soundtracks, but they're not really worth mentioning because kind of anyone could have done them. But it's a bit of singing that not anyone could have done, and it's really impressive. And I'm just very, very grateful. And yeah.
We didn't speak so much about your career in pop and electronic music. Could you just tell us a few of the projects you've been involved with? I mean, we can find them on your website, but just give us a bit of background about them.
Okay, so as far as house music, I'm a sort of accidental house music artist. I actually wanted, in my mind's eye, I saw myself as an artist in a band, a guitar-based band, probably more in the rock genre, like I love Steely Dan and Fleetwood Mac and, Heart and that sort of big female voice thing. So, and I made an album with Lemmy from Motorhead's son, Paul Linder. We had a big record deal and that was all kind of that kind of rock genre. But, life doesn't usually work out, it goes its own way.
The way you expect, yeah.
So while I was making that album, I was doing sessions, and basically, to cut a very long story short, one of the sessions I did was a hit.
Which was?
And that was Don't Stop by the Rough Drivers. And I didn't even know that it had come out. And then they had Deeper Love, which was also a really big chart hit. Then I rang them up and said, hello, just heard myself on Radio 1. I'm in 20, Joe Wiley's bigging me up, what's going on. So we got together and I suggested we did a cover of Shame by Evelyn Champagne King, which we did. That was our 3rd single, but Radio 1 didn't really like it, so it didn't get playlisted. So that it charted, but not very high. And then the 4th one was Dreaming by the Rough Drivers Presents a Roller. And that one I also co-wrote. So, and that went top 10 and that was massive worldwide. And it's 21 years old now and I'm still performing it. And because I wrote it, I got a massive royalty check. The first royalty check, I was like, oh my God, I had no idea. I was a writer, but I don't think I'd made any money out of my writing, particularly up until that point. I'd written a few things, but I was more interested in the singing than the writing. So I think that was the point at which I thought, right,
And then that you understood the
Let's do some more writing.
Yeah, that they can it can bring you some money all over the years if they keep on spinning them. Yes, of course.
So I guess that was 98. So I met my husband in 98, and we had our first child in 2000. And in 2000, I signed my publishing to Ministry of Sound when my youngest son was a baby, and that was actually when Dreaming was a really big hit. So the year that my son was born in the April, that summer I went to Ibiza 4 times to do big shows with, Brandon Block and Boy George and, whatever that year. Everyone at Ramina Johnson, all the people that were big that year, we were all there. And then from there, I went on to write Fascinated with Dave Lee, who's Joey Negro. Then I got involved with Dylan Rhymes, Salty, Lee Coombs, Shiver, Meet Katie, Round and Round. So a lot of sort of underground, sort of breakbeat. And from there, Roger Sanchez wanted to work with me because I did some tracks with Tom Steffen because he'd heard Salty and they had the same management. And then so I sang Lost for Roger with Lisa Pure, and I was in his band, went to Dubai and South America and Mexico, did touring with him in his band. And from there I did some recording for Ministry of Sound with Seventh Heaven and for Head Candy.
Yeah, Head Candy also, I saw that too.
So I've got a couple of Head Candy releases. And then, from there, I was in Bimbo Jones. So I made an album with Bimbo Jones. We had Harlem One Stop and And I Try with the singles. Then we made another album, which was half featured with me and then half other singers, such as Beverly Knight is one of our guest vocalists. And then the Freemasons heard And I Try, and their manager popped up on my messenger and said, we want a song like that for our album. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it, because I've been hearing Watching Amanda Wilson in the clubs and I loved it. And I was thinking, who's that? And I sort of found out who it was. And then there they were asking to work with me. So they said, at that time anyway, they said, we're not really songwriters. Do you have any a cappellas? So I always have a cappellas because if I write something and it's not right for somebody, or they don't use it within a certain amount of time, it reverts to me. It's my work. So you don't, it's not like songwriting where you sit down in a room with someone on a guitar and you construct the song together bit by bit. Dance music, you send me a backing track, which usually doesn't have many chords in it. So bluntly, I could sing anything over it. So I'm doing the work, generating the melody. So if you don't use it, or you don't want it, or you don't like it, that's mine. I take that back. It only becomes half yours if you actually use it. So I have a lot of a cappellas. Nothing's wasted. I had that one, that When You Touch Me, and I sent it to them with 10 others. I sent them 10 to choose from, and they picked it and constructed this incredible track around it, which was a real shock because it wasn't what I was, imagining, hearing it in that way. And then I went down to Brighton and re-recorded the vocal. But the vocal that you hear, that is exactly what I wrote. That's all the work. And they, quite rightly and very generously, gave me half the publishing.
The song,
I have to say that the Freemasons are, at the very top in terms of ethical and
integrity.
Integrity, thank you. Along with Joey Negro would be another one that I would put in that category.
And you sang the When You Touch Me. I remember when you played at the Jazz After Dark.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a nice one because there were songs by Elton John. There were songs by different types of music, as you said. But there was the When You Touch Me at that time also. And did you think about a song that you could sing to us a cappella in this, or maybe with some background music played via the computer?
Sure. I mean, what do you think people would like to hear?
I don't know. I mean,
they want to hear some of my hits, or do they want to hear me sing something else?
One of the a cappella that's never been used by anyone. I don't know.
Oh no, you would have had to have given me a bit of warning to do
Also, no,
that.
something that you think about. I mean, you choose.
Okay, let me have a
You
look.
know, your repertoire.
Right, I'm going to put on my look. So I wear glasses, everybody. So
And
these.
also, by the way, just to tell you, as you suggested, because we've been talking and chatting and talking, we'll be editing the video for the replay so that it's smoother. Also, because I have to tell you that I was so good in the beginning that all of my introduction was like muted, like in a silent movie, because I didn't switch for 1 minute my microphone. So we might re-record the introduction
Yeah, no problem.
offline in the end. But anyway, or we might redo it here. It's like we can do whatever we want.
We can do what we want to do.
We're grown-ups, so we
Okay,
can do
let me
whatever we
think.
want.
What can I sing for you? I should have thought about this before. Sorry.
I really like When You Touch Me, but if you have the backing
It's
track.
up to me. Okay, yeah. All right.
I still know.
You know what? I actually rewrote it for the Corona outbreak.
Yes?
Why don't I sing you to start with, my a cappella of my Corona version
Of When You Touch Me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, why not?
All right, here we go.
That's a moment. Exclusivity.
Yeah,
Almost.
well, it's
no,
not.
you did it maybe in the streaming the other day.
I have done it, but hang on, let me just find it. Hold on, caller. So, okay, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, you can't touch me now, 'cause I'm shut in my house. If you were coming round, then I'm kicking you out. Oh, baby, if you're sick and tired of sitting watching TV, yeah, that's right. Just be glad that you can choose the things that you see. Yeah, that's right. At least we have the net and things are pretty much free. Yeah, that's right. And if you have some loo roll, you've got real currency. So don't you touch me on my body until we are sure we are all COVID free. Don't touch me on my body. Keep everyone safe. We are one family.
Wow, amazing. Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah. Pretty cool. We have to record this and broadcast it on the radio on CMF radio that I launched.
I can send you a version of it.
Like a recording.
Let me see. So PA, hang on. So I'll sing a bit. I won't sing the whole thing. No. I'll just sing a bit of this. Blah 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Hi, yeah. Are you ready?
Yeah. Ready for this? Effect. I should have prepared. I've got some special GIFs with lightning and stuff.
Well, you burn me now. First you stay, then you go. If I'm kicking you out, then it's time you should know. Oh, baby, I'm so sick and tired of sitting talking to you, friend. Yeah, that's right. You want to know why? You never tell me anything that I want to know about your life. But baby, when you touch me on my body, I lose every feeling that I used to. Ooh. And baby, when you touch me on my body, losing my mind every time here I go. And baby, when you touch me on my body, lose every feeling that I used to know. And baby, when you touch me on my body, losing my mind every time here I go. Baby, yeah, that's right. Baby, yeah, oh yeah, that's right. Come on.
Yeah. Catherine Ellis, When You Touch Me.
That's enough of that.
Yeah, that was cool.
I'll do a fade.
I have to show you afterwards the recording. I've put some animated GIF disco lights on your face while you were singing. So
I'm quite flushed. I'm quite hot for some reason. I've got a head in the face. I should have put some makeup on.
That's all right.
But here I am. I'm just at home, I'm chilling in my studio.
That's natural. So what will you do after we finish this talk? Do you have any plans for the evening?
What I'm trying to do in our house, because there's 5 of us, we're quite busy during the day. So in the evenings, we like to watch a movie together and have dinner, because there's got to be some downtime. My husband's working incredibly hard on this illustration style. Also working very hard getting my son's gym put together and clearing the roof terrace, because we want to grow some vegetables out there. Mm-hmm. And Erin is doing lots of classes online for college. Gulliver's doing college work as well. And I'm, I've got something to record today actually for a comedy show that I've been asked to take part in with Lewis McLeod. So, once we've come to the end of our busy day, we like to chill. So last night, Gulliver and Erin went in Gulliver's room and watched The Good Place. Mm-hmm. And Max Zebedee and I watched Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels again, which we love. And, we all had dinner together. So we tried to have dinner together. Today, Gulliver and Erin are making a korma. Erin's a vegan, so making a vegan korma, and then the meat eaters can add some chicken to it or whatever.
Yeah. Fine program. And do you have any special message that you want to share with the world while we are live streaming on Facebook?
Yes. As I said, I know that I'm fortunate, and perhaps I'm also fortunate in that I've had very difficult times in my life that I've overcome. And so therefore I know that that's possible. That's within my life experience. So I would say that, we are going to come through this. And whatever your circumstance, I would urge you to really make the most of this time and really think about all the essential workers who work really, really hard all the time anyway and are now doing more than ever. All the doctors, the nurses, the police, the army, all the people in the food production and the shops, they're in such danger. When I went to the co-op yesterday, I just could not believe how dreadful people's behaviour is. I had to keep asking people to move and wait. There's a lot of people that just don't really seem to understand what's going on. It's very, very frightening. But at least I'm only having to pop in there. They're there all day. And some people are having to do jobs because they're keeping a roof over their heads. So I urge everybody to really think about those people when you're feeling down and you think you're having a hard day. Think about those people and just think about how lucky you are. And I understand that some people will be having terrible financial problems, but there is help out there. And one thing that we've got in the UK that you may not know about is something called Nextdoor. It's an app. It's free on your phone or on your computer.
Yeah, it's a social network you can connect with. Yeah.
You connect to your area and you can make that area really small, like the first few streets, or a little bigger. So I've been using that. People have been on there getting hand sanitizer and toilet roll for old people and dropping food off. We've got, in our road, we're on a WhatsApp group. Mm-hmm. So today I didn't have garlic. And I thought, I don't want to endanger myself and everybody else by going to the shop for garlic. Yeah. Just seems ridiculous. So I just put on the face on our road, does anyone have a bulb of garlic? Immediately, yes, it's outside our house. I'm at number 30. Brilliant. Then we've got a Facebook page for the road 2 roads over. Somebody organised a collection for vulnerable people in the area. So we went through our cupboards and I picked 5 or 6 items that I thought we probably weren't going to eat that we could spare. So a can of tuna, was a can of chicken soup that nobody really wants, and and a bag of pasta and whatever, like 5 sort of things. And I then let Our Road know that they were doing that. So then they had a lot of. So I think, you know, if you're not part of some community scheme like that, you could be the person that starts it. Write your phone number down, put your number through everybody's door, connect with your neighbors, because it's all about community now.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about, you know, help. It's about your home, and getting your home right and having a happy home that's functioning. And there will be a lot of challenges to overcome, and it's an opportunity to, you know, maybe put problems right in your home, miscommunications right. You know, you've got to rise to the challenge, and I think it's, if you can view it like that, it can be really positive.
Mm-hmm.
And outside your home, it's about your neighbors. So, you know, are your neighbors all right? Do you live near an elderly person? And if we can all do that, it's going to help everybody, and it's going to help, you know, the police and the army and the government, who are sort of trying to do this. It's massive, massive task. So I just think, you know, do your bit and make the most of it.
Thank you, Catherine. We will finish by showing your website to the people who are watching us, catherineellis.co.uk, so where you will see all the incredible acts we spoke about during this interview, links to our videos, to our Instagram page, you know, all the usual stuff you can expect from someone acting in the public, I would say. and yes, and we will edit this video for a smoother replay after we finish the live stream, and maybe, you know, post it bit by bit on the internet for people to enjoy. And thank you so much for your time. As you told me, you're a very, very talkative and chatty person, as I am. So you're
Fred, I don't get out much.
So yeah, so that's but that's perfect. It was a pleasure to talk to you, Catherine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.